Parents in ICE detention facilities are refusing to be separated from their children. Officers presented parents with the option of separating from their kids or remaining together in detention indefinitely, and not one of the 366 families agreed to separate. NBC News Justice correspondent Julia Ainsley joins me now. And Julia, first, why is the administration giving parents this option right now?
Well, Allison, they explained to us, I talked to a senior ICE official who said this is in response to a lawsuit. Now, the lawsuit was brought on behalf of families in detention because the lawyers are making the case that these children shouldn't be kept in there on what is an average of 6 months during the coronavirus pandemic. Instead, they think they should be released and monitored with their parents. Now, instead, what the government decided to do was offer this form to the parents to say, look, you can release your children, but you can't go with them, to then go show the judge that these parents are choosing to keep their children in detention. So the lawyers say this isn't at all what they intended with the lawsuit, and they say that these parents were completely caught by surprise, and a lot of them were very disturbed and very intimidated that the U.S. government was going to take their children away, because, of course, that is what happened in the summer of 2018.
Oh, such a scary situation. Julia, ICE is drafting a new form that would ask parents to waive their rights under the Flores settlement. Can you explain what all that means?
Yeah, let me explain that. So the Flores settlement goes back decades and basically protects the rights of immigrant children in ICE custody. And what it really says is that they shouldn't be there longer than 20 days. Now, these families have been there for an average of 6 months because the U.S. government has tightened asylum to the point that there are really no other options for these people. So they're waiting to see if they can appeal and go through a long legal process, while the government is waiting to see if any of these barriers can be removed so that they can just deport them as a family. In the process, the judge who oversees this Flores settlement that protects their rights says that these families have to, the government is not in compliance because of the families. So now what ICE is going to do, and what they told us exclusively, is that they are working on a new form that would ask the parents to waive the rights that are granted to them by the courts, which would include keeping their children for under 20 days, which obviously is not happening. So it's just another dead end for a lot of these families that are trying to seek asylum here and have some kind of protection for their health, for their families.
Yeah. Julia, these families are obviously dealing with so much. I know you have reported on this extensively. What are you hearing? How are they handling all of this?
It's hard because there are so many confusing pieces, even for journalists who know this system, have been covering it for years, who speak English. It's so hard to imagine what it's like for a family like this. So I speak most of the time through their lawyers to them, and a lot of people were very caught off guard. I mean, one of the lawyers represents families who have infants who are in a facility in Pennsylvania who were afraid that they would take the infants away from them. These people might have a cousin somewhere, but certainly no one who can raise the child without the parent involved. And the other thing that the parents may not even understand, which would be devastating to them, is once they're separated from the child, the government then treats them like a single adult and makes it a lot easier for them to be deported, which would only separate even further the parent and child. So there are a lot of pretty confusing and heartbreaking pieces to this whole story. This is one segment of it. We're also covering what's happening to families and immigrants trying to get in at the border who are being sent back to wait in poverty and in unsafe conditions in northern Mexico. But this piece particularly caught my eye, and it's something that I think might very easily be covered up while we're all focused on this pandemic.
It's just a heartbreaking situation for so many of the folks that you've been reporting on. Julia Ainsley, thank you so much. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.